Welcome, everybody. I'm Marc David, founder of the Institute for the Psychology of Eating. Here we are back in the Psychology of Eating podcast, and I'm with Augustine today. Welcome, Augustine.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Me too. That makes two of us. And, this is all about us seeing how much good work we can do together in a short amount of time. So if you could wave your magic wand and get whatever you wanted when it comes to food, body, health, your relationship with all that, what would that be for you?
I think probably my main focus is longevity. Exercise is important to me. Diet is important to me. So I think I've put an importance on them because I want to maintain what I have for as long as possible.
Mm-hmm. And does that feel good to you? Does that inspire you? Does it feel like a burden or a challenge? Like, how do those desires sort of live in you?
It does. It excites me. It inspires me. I try to surround myself with people that are like-minded, but also I hesitate in gravitating towards one specific ideal. Limited diets or fads, things like that. So I'm very, very open to different ideas and suggestions, and I just try to do mostly healthy, mostly active, and stay on a positive track.
So longevity, what does that mean to you?
I hope I get this right. I heard someone say that, does your health span match your lifespan? And that really struck a chord with me. Yeah. So just because someone lives long, are they healthy and able to enjoy those later years? And yes, I would like to. I would like my health span to match my lifespan.
Kind of like living younger, longer, so to speak.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. How long has that been interest and inspiration for you?
Quite a few years. I honestly, probably like 15, 20 years. When you're young and in your 20s, you feel invincible anyways. And I think my invincibility has waned a little bit, but the idea of trying to stay healthy as long as possible and to be able to function the ways I'm supposed to, that's always been in front of me.
So how old are you now?
I'm 49.
Mm-hmm. And how's it been for your family health-wise?
That's a good question. Usually when I go to doctor intakes, I don't even talk about that because both of my parents are passed. I'm sure you'll ask me, but my dad died of alcoholism and my mother of diabetes, and many medications that she was on. I think it just took a toll on her body. So I do believe that, of course, that's been a driving factor of me not wanting to take the same path that they did.
Mm-hmm. How old were they when they passed?
Just under 70, like 68 and 69.
Mm-hmm. And if you could have your wish, how long would you live with a good health span? Like if you had a number?
I would, if I could stay healthy, living to 100 doesn't scare me. So as long as I can stay healthy, I don't mind hitting those triple digits.
Uh-huh. And what do you do in your life that supports the mission of longevity and a healthy longevity? What are some of your favorite things?
I do stay active. In the past, I've played sports. I'm around a gym atmosphere almost every day. So I stay active. I coach classes, so I stay active. I try to work out regularly, meaning ideally 3 to 4 times a week. And as far as diet goes, I say I eat mostly healthy, and with my wife's cooking, she eats healthier than I do. So since she prepares most of my meals, she keeps me on the right track.
All right. Do you have kids?
I do. They're grown. They're all in their 20s.
Congrats. That's
Thank you.
Feel good.
It does. Now I get to enjoy the relationship as adults without just being their caregiver.
Yeah. Good for you. So, does your wife share a similar desire as you in terms of health and longevity?
Yes, and I'll try not to tell too much of her story, but I know it's been on her forefront. Just this past year, she lost her mom to Alzheimer's. And so that's been a thought in her mind, which basically she doesn't want to follow that path, and believe that diet can be a contributing factor to that. So healthy lifestyle has been her goal also.
And for you, do you ever get worried, concerned that, wow, this isn't going to work? Or do you ever have, like, both of my parents died before they hit 60, and both died of cancer. And I remember when I was in my mid 50s, I started wondering, am I going to outlive my parents? And because neither of them expected to get cancer. And so all of a sudden that just became my little kind of boogeyman in the back of my mind. So I'm wondering, does any of that come up for you?
It does and it doesn't. I haven't, of course, I like sweets and desserts, but I don't feel that I'm on the pathway of being threatened by diabetes. In my past, as far as drinking alcohol, I didn't ever have alcohol until I was 30 years old. And so I never had beer or hard alcohol. But then when I hit 40, my wife has said, now I'm trying to make up for lost time. And so I don't feel that I am a hardcore drinker, but I have caught myself a couple of times of, sitting down for dinner. I think I'll have a drink. And then a week goes by and I've had a drink with every dinner. So I've been aware of it, and what you were saying does kind of run in the back of my mind, that I just don't want to fall into the same path that my dad did. And he was a heavy drinker his entire life, but I don't need to flirt with that line. So sometimes that's a struggle.
Yeah. So did you make an agreement with yourself at a certain point in your life that you were going to hold off on alcohol?
I don't think so. I think it was never appealing to me. I didn't like the smell of it. Once I tasted it, I didn't like the taste of it. And I think that just being around it all of my younger life, it just didn't appeal to me.
Yeah.
Once I started drinking alcohol in my 30s, it was fun. I think I'm a fun guy, and I became a funner guy. So, I think that's where I have to be careful with myself, is being okay with me not having a drink.
Yeah. Yeah. I just, I find that part of your journey fascinating, having a dad who was dealing with alcohol, and you just so happened to not drink alcohol until, the 30s, and saying like, yeah, well, I just didn't like the taste or didn't appeal to you. It's, how perfect is that on a certain level? I always like to think that one of our jobs as the children of our parents is to, be the continuation of them in a good way. And, maybe improve on some of the places that they couldn't. I think we do that whether we know it or not.
I do believe that he influenced me a lot because of what I saw, what I saw him go through, what he lost. My parents divorced. So I did see the price that he paid, and eventually with his own life. So I'm sure that drove me also.
Yeah. Yeah. I got lucky. I think when I was young, I had an uncle who was, dealt with alcoholism for, much of his life and pretty much died of it. And I remember I was at a wedding once, and a family wedding, and he calls me over. I think I was about 6 years old. And he says, "Come here. I want to give you something." And he has this pretty little glass, and inside is what it looked like, water. So I'm thinking my uncle's giving me water. And so it turns out it had vodka in it. And I took a nice big sip. I thought it was water, and I thought I was going to die. And in that moment, I remember saying to myself, how could any sane human drink this stuff? How do big people do that? So similar to you, I didn't really have alcohol until my 30s. And
wow.
Yeah.
I don't hear that very often.
No, I don't either. So are you okay with your path and your journey in terms of, you've chosen a healthy lifestyle, you've created work that helps support that healthy lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to me like you've really set yourself up pretty well. There's never any guarantees in life. Mm-hmm. So, okay, you're aware of nutrition, you have some knowledge, you're aware of fitness, you have knowledge. I mean, you and I are similar in that we both teach what we're personally interested in.
Right.
I'm teaching about food and health and eating psychology and all that because it helped me. Mm-hmm. And when I teach it or share it, it just sort of reinforces that. So it seems like you've set up your lifestyle for really success in this realm, or the best probability of success anyway.
Right. I would like to think so. I also try to watch myself as far as the image that I put out. So, if I have a drink, I'm careful of who I drink with or around, because if I'm a coach, if I'm the health guy, I don't want them to see me have some vodka, or I don't want them to see me drink an energy drink, because I don't think those are that good for you. So my public image is important to me, which I think kind of holds me to a higher standard, unless I'm hanging out with certain friends or if I'm at home. So I don't know if that's a double standard or not, but hopefully I've put myself in enough of a positive situation where I can be going in the direction that I want to be.
Yeah. It's sort of fascinating to me, like you say, so you have a certain public presence around health, wellness, fitness. Mm-hmm. And so it makes sense that you'd want to portray that in a good way. And I wonder, I don't know that there's a right or a wrong here. It seems to me that, at least for me personally, part of a healthy relationship with food is being able for me to say I'm imperfect. So even though I'm very well versed, let's say, in helping people with binge eating. For me, I'll binge eat, I don't know, once every couple of months, and it's always on the same thing. I'll buy a bag of potato chips, and it's just, I'm under a lot of stress, and potato chips just, for me, symbolize a food that I can eat so much in so little amount of time, and I can keep doing it. And it's just the thing that stimulates me to just want to go unconscious and just munch. And being able to say that in a strange way levels the playing field, because I ain't perfect.
Mm-hmm.
None of us are perfect. And I think there's something healthy about that, because a lot of times, and you probably see this, there's a lot of people in the fitness universe, in the health universe, in the weight loss universe. We want to be perfect. I want to have the perfect body. I want to have the perfect shape. I want to have the perfect weight. I want to eat the perfect diet. And anything short of perfection means, I don't know, failure.
Right.
And usually around the corner from perfectionism is self-abuse. Meaning, if I don't eat perfectly, then I'm going to punish myself. And usually people punish themselves with exercise. That's one of the more common punishments that I've found.
Yes.
So there's this place where I think owning our humanity in whatever way works for you. Mm-hmm. Like it has to work for you. But it just might be an interesting experiment to say, yeah, 80, 90, 95% of the time, whatever it is, I eat really well. Mm-hmm. 80, 90, 95% of the time, I take really good care of myself. And every once in a while, I have a drink. And, I don't drink energy drinks, but when I do, here's the one I like.
Right. Yeah, that does help me actually quite a bit, that I don't have to get down on myself. I don't feel that I'm on the road to perfection. Just being as on the right path as possible. I do think that my diet and activity are probably close to the 80-20, 80%. I try to stay on track. 20%, I'll go out, I have a good time. I'll have drinks or pop a drink or potato chips. I can relate with you on that. So I don't mind that. Of course, taking your course, a big take from that was the guilt people feel after having dessert or sweets or cake. And I believe that the guilt does more harm to your body than the actual calories or the sugar does. So that stress and the guilt. So if I have a cookie, I'm going to enjoy every crumb of it and then not have one till the next time I crave one, which might be weeks or whatever. So I try to be friendly to myself, whether it's with eating sweets or having drinks. I just try to keep that ratio right of it not being having a drink with dinner 5 out of the 7 days. So as long as I can keep that in check, then I do feel comfortable with where I'm at.
Yeah. I think it's so important, as you say, I'm just kind of paraphrasing, to really have a healthy attitude towards it all. And, sticking with 80-20 for so many people is really doable. And that's pretty good in this world. I think in this world, 80-ish% of the time, to be doing what you know and what you really feel, this is solidly good for my body. This is something I can do every day. I can eat this good food every day. And I'm not going to drink alcohol every day. I'm not going to eat a ton of sugar and desserts every single day and punish myself with whatever kind of food every day. And even when you do, you're going to forgive yourself, because guilt doesn't necessarily, nobody's ever shown that it helps you live longer, or certainly you're not going to live happier. You're going to just live longer with more guilt, even if you still live longer.
Yeah, I think having that kind of attitude and that outlook, I think that feeds my soul more than I think that feeds my soul more than the sweets hurt me. So as long as I can have that and let it go and be fine with it, and hopefully I'm saying this right, that I can keep control of it. Not that I'm always going to have control, but like I said, just keep that ratio okay, keep the proportions as far as snacks or drinking or whatever it is. The closer I can stay to the 80-20, the better I feel. I know in my performance and exercising and in my attitude throughout the day, I feel better when I eat better, or I feel better when I don't have drinks the previous night. So it's almost instant gratification. I get to see the rewards by not trying that hard, just staying on track.
Mm-hmm. In your business, are you coaching people around weight, or is it more fitness? What's
It is. I coach people with weights. I own a CrossFit gym, and so they are in class
weight as
settings.
in weight loss.
Yeah. To a point, we will have like health challenges for certain time frames, but yes, people that reach out to me, I work with them with that also.
Mm-hmm. And how is that for you? Is it something you enjoy doing? Do you feel comfortable with it?
I really enjoy it, and I'm hoping to get more comfortable with it. Just basically more confident in myself and what I've learned, that I can help someone get from one point to another, or with their image of themselves. So, but I enjoy it a lot. I mean, this sounds corny. I really do helping people. So whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, with their eating, their diet, working out, I feel a lot of gratification from that.
Yeah. Good for you. I always notice that in the fitness universe, it's easy for a lot of people to hide their, how do I want to say? It's easy to hide their obsession or their self-attack or their perfectionism, because if I'm spending time in a gym, it means I'm doing something good for myself. I'm caring about my fitness. Mm-hmm. And if I'm really going for it, it means I really care about myself. And I've just noticed that there's a subset of people who can become just obsessive, and they're actually not having a good time because they're looking for a goal. And the journey tends to be the journey isn't necessarily so good or fun. And it's almost as if to say, I'm not going to like myself until I either, have a certain amount of percent body fat. Mm-hmm. Like there's certain goals that they want to hit, and until they hit that goal, life ain't good.
Right.
Do you notice that?
Definitely. I see it pretty regularly. I think because I've seen it, it helps keep me in check, to make sure I'm not, I guess, confining myself to those limitations. It took me a little while, but I removed the scale, so I'm not weighing myself every morning. And so simple things like that, the scale. Of course, I have goals. I would like to be a certain body fat percentage, but I haven't been there in about 2 years, and I'll get there. It's a slow journey, and I'm fine with that. So even though I was there 2 years ago, it's okay that I'm not now, as long as I'm kind of headed in the right direction. But I am around people that are, okay, I'm not eating this or that, carbs, or I went to a wedding reception and I had sweets and desserts. So they punish themselves with the workout for the next couple of days. That's challenging. I understand what you're saying with that. And I do feel that it's my role to kind of help redirect them or steer them. But also I realize I can only tell them so many times, and they're going to do their own thing.
Yes. So other than for you, food and fitness, what else in your life and your experience do you view as this is a good way for me to increase my lifespan / health span?
Wow, that's a good question. That's a good question. I'd have to think about that. I think that I really have tried to surround myself with similar thinkers, whether it's my personal circle or functional doctors that I follow online. I don't know if I've truly thought about that yet, other than I do believe what we put in our bodies either promote health or don't promote health, or put you in the direction you want. But I do believe that there's more than just food. Mm-hmm. I do think it's the attitude, your outlook, how much stress and emotional things that are going on. And, and I don't know if this is still on the same track, but when I lost my parents, I had friends and those around me that felt very sorrowful for me. And I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be broken or not. And so I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be fixed or not. My dad died in January. My mom died the following February. So they were very close to each other. And they were tough events that year, but it wasn't, actually it probably was the worst year of my life, but I didn't live every day like everything sucked. I didn't feel that way. And so I wasn't sure if, do I need to be fixed because I lost both my parents? So I think just because bad things happen doesn't mean that you have to live in that. And of course, there's a time of mourning and going through things, but I just think that the outlook, the attitude, help as much as the food you're putting in your body. So I don't know if that answered your question, but
absolutely answers my question. I love the question, and I think everybody's going to answer it differently. Mm-hmm. But it's really just an exploratory question. And for somebody like yourself, whose, lifestyle and work style is centered around health, it's a great question.
I wish I had thought of that more deeper previously. That's a great question. Yeah. It's going to get me to my goal of living healthier longer.
Bingo. I think it's a powerful question, and it doesn't mean one has to have an answer or answers today or tomorrow, but really just to keep holding that question. And, as I ask that question of myself, it changes for me every period of time. I don't know, every year, every decade. Mm-hmm. I sort of rejigger my game plan or my beliefs about what is healthy for me, and what will really extend my health or really support it. There are foods that I used to consider healthy for me, and I just eat less of them because it just doesn't feel as good. And that's fine. I think the body shifts, the body changes. And if we're paying attention and just kind of tapping into our body wisdom, mm-hmm. you notice those things. Just even something as simple as alcohol. I've gone through times where, I might be having it 2 or 3 or 4 times a week, even if I'm on vacation. Mm-hmm. And now if I have it 4 times a week, my energy is shot. My body just can't take it. I would like it. Mm-hmm. I would love to have the effect without the drawback that I'm going to have the next day, but it just doesn't happen. So for me, if it's like, it has to be once a week at the most. Mm-hmm. but that's ingestibles. I'm always also trying to answer the question for myself. What else? So I think about the personal growth realm or the personal transformation. I'm always asking myself the question, or I'm asking that question on behalf of my clients. How is the universe asking them to grow? How is life asking you to grow, right now? And I think usually how life is asking us to grow is the path to health, because it's growth. Growth is good. It's springtime here in Colorado, and everything's growing. And that to me is health. Wintertime comes, it looks like it's quote unquote dying. I mean, I know it's not really dying. Stuff is going to come back, but there's something about growth that just says health and vibrancy and energy. And, you and I have technically stopped growing physically. You're as tall as you're going to be. Your organs are what they are. Yeah, you can make them more efficient, but I forget what scientists say, certainly by the age of 21, bones have finished, everything's finished growing. And, hopefully we're maintaining maybe, or we're improving on the foundation we've been given. But we're always growing as humans, always getting our challenges, whatever they are. Your parents die, or something's going on with the kids, or something's going on with the dog or the cat or whoever. So
I really like that perspective of growing as health. I don't think I've ever heard it that way before, and that totally makes sense. As long as I am actively pursuing what I believe is healthy for me, then I am continuing to grow and get closer to my goal, whatever that is at the time. I really like that.
Yeah, and it's interesting as you kind of focus on that more or consider it more. Notice the people in your gym, in your practice. What are the moments or the opportunities to even be in that conversation with people? I find that there's times when I go through great personal challenge that oftentimes on the other side of that great personal challenge, my health actually improves. And sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's subtle, but it's almost as if something in me personally, emotionally, spiritually got strengthened. And when I'm more strong emotionally, when I'm more strong just in terms of being able to focus my mind and harness it better, my body always feels better. That's what I notice for me.
It's so key if we can align ourselves up. The physical, the mental, the spiritual, the emotional. It makes such a huge difference when you realize it or you acknowledge it. Even if you don't, you just happen to be having a good day, and I feel the majority of the time I'm in a good place. I wake up, I'm happy to wake up. I get to, go to my gym. I'm happy I get to go to my gym and help people or coach people. It's a good place. I feel that emotionally, mentally, spiritually, I am within range of each of them. So it makes a difference. You can tell when you're off tilt.
Yeah. I think it would be interesting for you as you continue to be inspired by the goal of long lifespan, long health span, to include who's the person you want to be as you move forward.
Hmm.
So are you going to be the same guy 30 years from now? Putting health aside and putting age aside, how do you want to grow personally? How do you wish to grow spiritually? Whatever that means for you.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you want to be as a human being? Who do you want to be as a man? Who do you want to be as a partner, a husband, a father, a teacher, a coach? Like, who do you want to be? I really feel that can be as important in your health equation,
Mm-hmm.
perhaps even as much as food or fitness.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I wish I could say more on that, but wow, that in itself is inspiring, because it gives me something real to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah, it drives me in a specific direction.
Good for you. Yeah.
That's great. You just made me feel good all over.
Well, I think you also feel good. It just in this conversation for me, this is just an inspiring conversation because you're a human being. You're a man who's really doing your absolute best to live your principles and live what you believe in and live it in a good way and actually share it with others and figured out a way to make a living out of it. Damn. How good is that? You could be working in a job that you didn't like and then have to squeeze in health and fitness into a busy schedule that doesn't necessarily always support health and fitness. So you've really integrated your values into just how you live. And I just think that's just an amazing thing.
It is. It was kind of weird. It took me by surprise because when I was looking into starting a gym or buying into a gym, things were progressing. And my daughter, she said, "Dad, you're getting your dream job." And I didn't even realize it until she had said that. It's like, oh, wow, this is what I've wanted for years, and it's actually coming to fruition. So it's exciting. It's a great place to be.
Congratulations. How long have you been in the business then?
Not very long, 3-4 years.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And what were you doing previously?
Working in kind of a restaurant environment.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So completely different field.
Whole new universe.
Yeah, definitely. Although this is what I wanted to do back then, and it came to pass.
Wow. Good for you.
Thank you, Mark.
So from this conversation, what are you taking away?
A lot of encouragement. I do feel that this kind of refilled my tank, of support and believing that I am on the right path, that I'm not as far off as sometimes I feel I am. Mm-hmm. So that it's kind of reassurance, and not in terms of justifying my actions or this or that, but knowing that, okay, when I do a real self-check, I'm not doing too bad. I'm in the right arena, and like I said, kind of fuel to keep doing what I'm doing. And when I need to fine tune it or self-evaluate and make sure I'm still going in the direction I want to, or make sure I still have the same goals, just because they were my goals 10 years ago, or are they still my goals now? So I really do feel encouraged. Like I feel the hard work that I've put in these past 3, 5, 10 years, it actually did pay off, and that it's paying off because I get to continue in this passion of mine that I feel rewarding. So I feel very encouraged.
I think there's something very healthy about acknowledging where we're at in a positive way, especially when there's something positive to say, and really celebrating our success and owning where you're at in a good way. You're in a great place. And yeah, things aren't always perfect, and diet and exercise isn't always perfect, and body fat ain't always perfect, but it's so inconsequential compared to the overall picture of what you've created for yourself and where you're at and how you're creating your life. You're there, and everything else is really just kind of gravy on top on a certain level.
Yeah, I feel very privileged and honored because, of course, I like to lose a few pounds. I like to tone up my body here and there. But I know that not everyone is where I'm at mentally or emotionally. And it's a tough struggle, externally and internally. And for me to be comfortable with myself and where I'm at, wow, what a place to be.
Yeah.
So it feels really good.
Yeah. I think that's the key in so many ways, being comfortable with ourselves, even if we're not exactly at such and such a place. And if the details aren't exactly how I want them to be, especially when it comes to the body, can I still be comfortable in my body? Can I still inhabit my body without going into my head about my body? I think that's what happens for a lot of people. Their body isn't where they want it to be. So then I'm constantly worried that I have to do things to my body to get it to where I want it to be. And I'm constantly pushing the body or forcing the body. And yeah, fine to improve your body. But can we do it from a place of, yeah, I'm good, and I'd like to be even gooder.
Yeah.
But I'm good.
Yeah, I'm happy that I'm allowed myself to be okay with me, even though there are areas of improvement, of course, but I like being me. And I definitely know a lot of people that can't say the same thing. Not everyone likes me. No, I'm kidding. But to be comfortable with myself and like who I am, and only to want to be more of me.
Well, Augustine, I'm very inspired by our conversation. I'm inspired by you and your journey and just how you show up. And yeah, I just really appreciate our time together.
Thank you. It's been a blast. I totally appreciate your time. This has been fun. And I feel, like I said, I feel fueled up. You've inspired me.
Great. Same here. So it's worked both ways. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And thanks everybody for tuning in. Take care, my friends.
Hey friends, we're so happy that you've joined us for another episode of The Psychology of Eating with Marc David. Are you loving these episodes? Then simply subscribe and you'll never miss an episode again. We'd also love it if you'd leave us a comment below so we can hear more about your own journey with food and body. And if you're curious about what we offer at the Institute for the Psychology of Eating, including our internationally acclaimed coach certification training that's rooted in dynamic eating psychology and mind-body nutrition, please head on over to our website, psychologyofeating.com. Until next time, take care. And remember, having the body you want starts with loving the body you have.